How many times have you seen it? You're in the middle of making a presentation, and off in the corner, 2 or 3 of your participants are engaged in what we call a sidebar conversation. What do? Well, partly it's going to depend a little bit on your relationship to your audience. If you know those people fairly well, you have an opportunity to interject yourself into that conversation, but that could be kind of tricky. We're suggesting take a strategy that moves from the least intrusive to the most intrusive as you need it. Let's start with the least intrusive. Bottom line, if you can, simply ignore it. Usually it wraps itself up. There's a misconception that people who are involved in sidebar conversations are not listening. Now, that may be true for a certain percentage of the audience, but there are other people who can't listen well unless their mouth is moving. So let them go if you can. If it starts to spread, or if others in the audience are starting to be distracted by that, then as the speaker, you need to step in. And the first thing that we would suggest that you do is move your location. Put yourself into their peripheral line of sight. Most sidebar conversations, they've placed you as a speaker somewhere in the room. If you change that location, you'll force them to stop and find you. So change your location. Thirdly, we suggest, if you need more, intentionally start a discussion in the group. Change where the noise is coming from. Again, that will serve partly to cause that conversation to think twice before doing it. You may do what we call pull a Columbo. You may or may not remember the TV detective Columbo, who was kind of absent-minded, a little like he didn't know what was going on, always asking questions, always nailing the criminal. Well, we suggest you consider taking that kind of approach. When you have a conversation going and you're not looking at the people who are in the sidebar conversation and you're interacting with somebody else from the audience, act like you think that conversation is directed to you. So you stop and say, "Excuse me, you were saying?" Clearly, that will serve notice to them that you can hear them. If they say nothing, you say, "Okay, no problem." And you were saying again? So it just lets them know that you can hear them. That's a pretty intrusive way to do it, and it may take some practice, but if you think about it, it can work very effectively. Good luck.